Hello and welcome to North 100, a Canadian Highlander podcast. My name is Serge. Joining me today, I have a Nelly,
hot dog cart tested,
a Wheeler,
Throwdown,
and we got a James on tech.
That's me.
A reminder that everything we do is brought to you by you with your support of the Patreon over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. It's funny that you said throwdown because that's the wire that got crossed in my brain as I was trying to do the intro, and I was like, where am I? What year is it? Give me pictures of the Spider-Man.
Who?
Welcome to our set review of Magic the Gathering's Spider-Man. Today we're going to be covering white, blue, black, and red cards. A reminder for our set reviews that these are not exhaustive. We do not want to talk about every single card, only the ones that we think are relevant to the format, that we think you're going to want to talk about. What's the third criteria?
Marvel's Spider-Man.
or that we want you not to play, but you want to hear it.
Talking about cards that are good in Highlander, potentially good in Highlander, or bad cards that undoubtedly you're going to want us to talk about anyways.
Love it. Start us off, Wheeler.
Well, actually, can I just jump in really quick here?
Start us off, James.
Yeah, you forgot a sponsor.
I was going to say you forgot the sponsors.
I threw the Loading Ready Run.
Card Kingdom now,
Card
brother.
Kingdom.
Remember?
Oh, well. Speaking of Spider-Man, if there's any singles that catch your eye, North 100 is sponsored by Card Kingdom. CardKingdom.com/LRR. It's an affiliate code. Lets them know that we sent you. And if you ask really nicely, you can say, Loading Ready Run sent me button, please. And they'll send you a little 1-inch button that'll be funny, clever, sad, dramatic. Wheeler.
We really need to talk about taking him to the glue factory.
Well, I want everyone to know that we're grateful for our sponsorship, no matter how
I agree,
how long it took us to
but
acknowledge it.
he injured his knee.
Yep. Oh, I see.
He's messing up the sponsors.
I made the error of going for a jog while over 40, and everything is falling apart. All right.
God.
All right, let's...
Wheeler.
Yes. Arachne Psionic Weaver. This is 2 and a white for a 3/3 legendary spider-human hero with web slinging for a single white. Web slinging is an alternative casting cost where you can pay the web slinging cost, which in this case is a single white, and also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand in order to pay the cost. Often this is going to be cost reduction. In several cases, this is going to mean an increase of cost. It's an alt casting cost that has some added utility by returning a tapped creature. Going to very quickly just say, I like web slinging a lot. I think it's very interesting, not just because of the cost reduction, but because of the implications of returning cheap utility creatures, ETB creatures, resetting blockers occasionally. And you can do some goofy infinites as well with some cards that don't currently see play in Canlander, but who knows? Maybe your heart desires to combo with a Relic of Legends or whatever.
I just want to jump in while we're covering the ability and remind everyone, Wheeler said this already, but you're casting this spell. Mm-hmm. It feels a lot like another ability, ninjutsu, but unlike ninjutsu. This is a spell going on the stat.
Yeah,
this ability putting a creature into play.
Marvel Spider-Man has 2 mechanics, and they are both fixing older mechanics that have terrible timing issues.
Interesting with the fixing. All right, we're not even talking about Arachne anymore, but I guess, yeah.
Well, to talk about web slinging is pretty important because that's a large part of this card. As Arachne enters, you look at an opponent's hand and you choose a card type other than creature. Spells of the chosen type cost 1 more to cast.
Symmetrical.
Yes. So this is going to be a couple of very important things for a mono-white humans deck or a mono-white legends deck or a white X, like Hate Bears style strategy. This is going to be a legendary human that can quite often cost a single white mana or can cost Ancient Tomb mana. Resetting your Stoneforge, your Cloud, resetting anything, Witch Enchanter, Paolo. There's so many things that web slinging can reset for a mono white aggressive deck. Even if it's just I played Usher of the Fallen on turn 1, I attacked you, then I returned it and then replayed it. And this is a 2 mana 3/3 with this ability. The hand peak, honestly, the information is so key for that deck because, in this case, I'm talking about the disruptive mono white deck because a lot of your cards don't really match up in size to some of the threats of the current day. But they can just say to a variety of what your opponent's trying to do to kind of like even things out here. And so even just having the information to know what you need to play around, how to use your Mother of Ruins, when to use your Mother of Ruins, that kind of thing is huge. Then we actually factor in you're on Storm? Well, your instants cost more. Or you're on like a Citadel combo or an artifact combo deck. Oh, well, your artifacts are going to cost more. I think this card's pretty good. Symmetrical doesn't matter when your deck is built around the idea that your 1-mana spell deals with anything.
Yep.
Right?
May I add one more note specific about web slinging that we didn't cover?
No.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So specifically with mana dorks, you can actually, the way that casting a spell works, you can put web slinging on the stack, tap to add a white mana, and then return that mana dork specifically to pay the alternate cost for web slinging. It's a cute little interaction that some people might not be aware of, just the way that spell timing works.
Yeah, good to know. Worst case scenario, you could be Lotus Pedaling out of Birds of Paradise and still playing Arachne on turn 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Nelly.
I have one more thing to say about this card. I just remembered. I will agree with everything Wheeler said and just warn you, decks these days seem to be super packed full of creatures. But hey, it's still a 1-mana 3/3 that resets all those other things. Costume Closet. 1 and a white for an artifact. With this artifact enters 2 with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Tap. Move a +1/+1 counter from this artifact onto target creature you control, only at sorcery. And whenever a modified creature you control leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on this artifact. Okay, so we've seen a few other things like this in the past where it's kind of like incrementally buffing the number of +1/+1 counters in your +1/+1 counters deck on your creatures. It like moves the +1/+1 counters around in multiple different ways. So when you have effects that modify that, there's a chance that it can
Like hardened scales or whatever.
Yeah, it's like every time you're tapping it, it adds to the number of total counters are on the field. And also every time one of your modified creature leaves the battlefield, it says put 1 counter on this, but actually you're going to put 2 or whatever. So multiple instances on the same card for your hardened scales type effects to get value. And then this one's only 2 mana. And there's no mana associated with the tap ability. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this card. I don't know that it does anything that the Collector's Cage doesn't already do for you.
I'm of the mind this is probably a little bit slow. It's like a poor redundant copy of the Ozolith, but I don't actually know if the +1/+1 deck loves this or needs this. Like, it's not a creature.
Well, I don't know if it's really the Ozolith and more just a Luminarch Aspirant, right? You just like, it's a 2-mana card that every turn is going to put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control. Just not at the beginning of combat.
Sure.
And then, like, through the process of playing Magic the Gathering,
It might get a little bit better.
it's going to continue to have counters to feed
You think that's
in.
enough? Because there's already like 4 copies of Luminarch Aspirant right now. I mean, getting up to like 3 mana as well.
I don't know if it's enough, but
Sure.
it is an interesting card because
That's valid.
it does 2 things, right?
Yep.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a solid role player, but it's certainly not the most exciting.
Not to
card
mention,
set.
just like this card is very funny with Skull Clamp as like a way to continue to put, counters on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have The Origin of Spider-Man. This is a saga for 1 and a white. Chapter 1, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Chapter 2, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It becomes a legendary spider hero in addition to its other types. And then finally, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. I'm actually pretty happy with this particular saga. You get a creature on cost with its first chapter and a little bit more value above it. It does a very good job of doing the sort of progression that you want, like establish a threat, buff your board, and then have a bit of a finisher behind it. It reminds me a little bit of like the play pattern of something like History of Benalia, which used to see it play a lot at the time when it came down. Body, finisher, but maybe a little bit more proactive. That being said, there's probably not a lot of decks that want exactly this effect, unless maybe you're in like Bestow Beatdown and you're looking to get additional value off of playing an enchantment when it comes into play. But like this, or the Bestow deck, maybe the +1/+1 deck, it's fine. It gives you enough for its mana cost, and it comes down early, which is good.
I think cheap sagas are underrated.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Reflection of the Mirror Breaker or Urza Saga are busted.
Yeah.
But more and more people just realize, hey, the Huntsman's Redemption Wilds of Eldraine is
That's
like,
the one that makes the 2/2 wolf.
No, it makes a 3/3,
Oh, pardon me.
and then you can sack a creature to tutor for a creature.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it gives 2 things +2/+2 and trample.
Yeah.
It's kind of like first Garrick with Garrick Relentless together.
Yeah.
It's a bit like both of those cards.
But I've also ran into it's from Doctor Who. It's called like the Sea Devils or something, and it's kind of like History of Benalia, and that it makes 3 mana and green, 2 and a green, and it's like make 2/2 island walking salamander aliens or whatever. And then the third chapter is whenever one of your things hits them, you also get to dome out their creature for that much damage, which is pretty good on an evasive threat. I'm just saying that sagas are like cheap sagas that make multiple board pieces are potentially just undervalued in our format because like I'm not saying it's all about Ocelot's pride, but just getting more things on the board is so good.
Do you like this in synergy decks, or do you like this even just like now? Maybe think about it in your mid-range strategies.
Yeah, I don't know. Think about it in like a deck that wants to just clog the board, like maybe even a token strategy, or something that can return the saga before you get to the final stage.
I do want to like point everyone towards, and I hope I don't get any part of this wrong because I'm supposed to be an authority, but the actual legend rule is like if you control 2 legendary permanents with the same name, so it has to be 2 permanents that both have the legendary super type. So if you have like multiple things making spider tokens, and then you make one of them legendary, that's okay. Everything stays on the board. It's only when there's another because say you don't put anything else out. The play pattern here is make spider token. Its name is spider, and lots of things make a token named spider. But you can make a bunch of other non-legendary ones, and that's chill.
Yeah, as long as there's not 2 that are legendary.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Wheeler.
We have a double-faced modal creature, I guess is the way to word it. Peter Parker is the front side. For 1 and a white, you get a 0/1 legendary human scientist hero. With when Peter Parker enters, you create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Peter Parker also has pay 1 green, white, and blue to transform Peter Parker, but you can also just cast the backside of this card for exactly that cost, and you get Amazing Spider-Man, which is the 4 mana 4/4 legendary spider human hero with vigilance and reach, and each legendary spell you cast that's 1 or more colors has web slinging green, white, and blue. I'm a fan of these cards. It's just anytime you have options.
Oh, so you're talking about the Spider-Man modal double-faced creatures in general?
Yes, yeah, because this is a cycle. There's 1 per color. And this one, people looked at this and were like, why would I play this instead of playing a Johnny? And it's like, well, they're 2 totally different cards. And
much better late game.
You probably play, well, I don't know about that, but you probably play both, right? Like the fact, talking about the origins of Spider-Man Saga, it's just so good to put multiple game objects into play off of a single card, especially when one of those game objects happens to be a cheap human that doesn't mind getting Caracased, that has a way to turn it into a big end game kind of card that can also just rebuy some value. Yeah, I like these. I'll give them a shot. The mana cost, like, I don't think you need to play this in a deck that has all of the other colors. Like, you could play this in mono white if you wanted to and not worry about the Bant side, or get the Bant side through like your Horizon Canopy and your Cavern of Souls.
Random treasure token.
Treasure tokens. Yeah, exactly.
I will say the exception to the rule of trying to get as many game pieces on the board as possible is when you're trying to fit your battlefield in the camera.
Yeah, that's
one other just interesting rules note. This is the first time that modal double-face cards and transforming cards have ever appeared on the same card together, which is kind of interesting. So previously on modal double-face cards, you could only play one or the other. Transforming cards, you could only ever play the front side and then transform it. These offer a brand new degree of flexibility. If you haven't ever heard that stated explicitly, it's kind of big. It's kind of cool because you could also transform this back later, all kinds of neat stuff.
transform it back.
No, you can't,
No, you
right?
can't.
Well, unless
Doesn't
you bounce it
isn't
somehow.
that what the
No, that
the
just
front has
says
the
what
cost?
the-
I'm sorry.
yeah,
No. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Well,
That has the transfer. Sorry, I conflated the You see how it has the
bottom
transform
left.
window in the bottom left
Yeah.
as the ability to pay it because the front side had that. All right, I was right about everything except
So,
for that last line.
To recover from what Serge said, though, this is an interesting kind of card where a lot of people see it as 2 modes of play, but I actually think there are 3. There's you play Peter Parker and you get the spider. You play the backside spider, which is like the mid-game, mid to late, and then the like real late is you play Peter Parker and then transform, like as a whole kind of unit.
2 mana card, 4 mana card, 6 mana card.
Yes, exactly. But sometimes your 2 mana card turns into a 6 mana card, but also at different stages. Like it's good to have options.
Right, they're kind of all figures of Destiny too.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Worth noting. I just want to, also just, I don't know, give Serge a helping hand here. It's like this window that we see in the bottom left of the card where it tells you the power toughness of the other side also now tells you the mana cost, which is new. So that might have been like something that, will confuse you. It's new and different. Typically, a transforming double face card will tell you the power toughness of the backside, if there is one, to kind of just give you that visual reminder because you're playing like Gatstaff Shepherd. It's like it's got words on both sides that you care about, you need to know. So they showed you that before. It's like, oh, it turns into a 3/3 or whatever. But these ones also show you the mana cost because you could have cast it for that or whatever. So they changed that.
All right, next up, Nelly.
Let's talk about Spectacular Spider-Man. 1 and a white for a 3/2 legendary spider human hero with flash, and 1 generic. Spectacular Spider-Man gains flying until end of turn, and 1 generic and sacrifice Spectacular Spider-Man. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Ooh. It's a pretty good white card. If you have white mana, consider putting this thing in your deck. For 2 mana, you've got a lot of different modes here. Flash, 3/2, block. Trade with your X3. Flash, 3/2, save the rest of my team. Maybe block as well, but then the rest of my team gets indestructible. Or hexproof. Flash, it's like it plays cancel against removal spell for 3 mana, right? My other creature that is crucial gets hexproof. Just flash at end of turn and then untap attack. Just play as Watchwolf on turn 2.
All right.
And one more? Do we have one more mode? These are all kind of good things.
Put it into your Agatha's Soul
I was going to say, yeah. Like,
you.
what decks do we want to put this in? Was where I was going to go. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is nuts. D&T is nuts. Is this good enough for like mid range?
I mean, yeah, there might be. So the Agatha's Soul Cauldron covers a lot of different strategies, whether it's just like in kind of a good creatures with combo or like an all-in combo creatures shell, but certainly turning all of your creatures into like a counter spell for their removal is pretty big. Also, just giving all of them flying randomly, you're going to end up winning a game like that too. It's like, oh, this thing has 3+1/+1 counters on it now. I guess I can just hate you in the sky. Yeah, I like both of those options a lot. D&T, I think it's kind of a slam dunk.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Flash is one of those abilities that makes Caracas annoyed. It doesn't beat
Bounce
Caracas
Spider-Man.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but it just means you can replay it twice before they can untap their Caracas. I don't know. This card, honestly, I think is probably top 3 in the set for me. Like, I just think it's very strong on range.
It's just very straightforward.
Yeah, it's not. There's not a ton to say about it, but like, watch out, he's going to swoop in and then attack you.
All right, next up, Spider-Man Web Slinger. This is a 3 mana 3/3 for 2 and a white. It's a legendary spider human hero. It has web slinging for a single white. So very similar to Arachne, except it doesn't have any of the additional abilities that you have there. But just the ability to get a 3/3 for 1 mana seems kind of pushed. And for all the things that Wheeler was talking about earlier, reset cards, combo potential, added value. Seems good if you want to do exactly that.
It's the case where you are not always, like if you have Arachne in this card, because they're so similar, there are spots where you'll play Arachne but not this. I don't think there are spots where you're playing this and not Arachne, but like
It is almost strictly worse Arachne. Like,
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
like, yeah.
It is
basically
every single part, but it's missing an ability.
I mean, you have to choose a spell type other
Battle.
than creature to make the cost more, and it's
battle.
like actually Arachne could be worse than this one in some. Yeah, you can choose
Just
battle.
battle.
Sure,
Yep.
you can choose battle.
Yep.
But I think it's worth noting that we included this card, even though it's a strictly worse version of another. card
I'm
list.
just
It's like,
very-
hey, web slinging 3/3 for 1. We like it.
It's a one. It can be very easily a 1 mana human that is a 3/3, but it is also a legendary creature. And so having more legends for you, like if you go on the Yoshimaru build, or if you want to do one of the aforementioned combos with like a Relic of Legends, where you just web sling over and over again, or Nurturing Pixie style cards,
Right. Everything you've targeted on your own side of the board with Phalia, it's just like, hey, one more of those triggers. You know?
All right, start us off with Blue Wheeler.
We have Hide on the Ceiling, X and a blue for an instant, exile X, target artifacts and or creatures, return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this is a pretty powerful Magic card that has a couple of applications. We've seen, like there's the expected play pattern of, oh, this is a ghost way of like I'm going to exile my entire team and then bring them all back to reset ETB triggers, get Leaves the Battlefield triggers, or protect them from like a Wrath of God, a Terminus, Toxic Deluge, whatever. We also have the I'm going to flicker 1 card, and you treat it like a Cloud Shift. You just pay 2 mana, target 1 creature, and you save your single creature. You have the Ghostly Flicker mode of I'm going to flicker these 2 creatures. They come back. One of them is going to return this card to my hand like an Eternal Witness or an Archaeomancer. Then the other one's going to do something degenerate. Maybe you have a Peregrine Drake and you're feeling nasty, or a Cloud of Fairies and we're doing some kind of popper impression. Also, you can just target your opponent's stuff. So you can say, oh, I have lethal as long as you didn't have these pesky blockers. Now you don't have these pesky blockers, and I'm going to smash in. Or, oh, that's a nice time vault. It'd be a shame if we waited a turn.
Yeah. Clear their constructs, right? Yeah.
All of that on a card you can find off Spellseeker.
Yep.
Or Micromancer, honestly. Like, it's just a lot of what I described there is not something you could tutor. And that has been a pretty big damper. And instead, we get one that you can tutor. It's very flexible in what it does, and it is backbreaking.
Our format doesn't play a ton of like just sleep your creatures for 1 turn. Just get your creatures out of the way for a second. We hit a board stall, but the board stalls do happen.
I mean, I would push back. I'd say the uptick in Sea of like Phalia and Flicker Wisp ahead of time was exactly that play pattern of just like get something out of the way. Like Phalia has been an all-star lately for that exact reason.
I just can't think of any other card that we play regularly that does more than 1.
Sure.
But sometimes you have the Flicker Wisp and the Phalia on the same board.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't get a 3rd creature in play. Or like you have to block the troll.
I gotta tell you, when the MH3 double face modal cards were coming out, I was like hankering for a sleep. You know,
They made that suppression field card or whatever. It's
yeah,
called,
5 mana comes into
That
play
thing.
tapped, but it's
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Where
Yeah.
like this is the kind, to the credit of this card,
Yeah.
that's the kind of effect you want to play, but you don't want to dedicate a card to.
Sure.
Now you get that effect,
Yep.
and you're not committing to a whole card because you're also just like, well, I'll flicker my Pawn Prophet and my like Icewind Kotal, I guess.
I'm going to be real. I read this card and I was excited about it, and I don't know why I didn't even think about it for Highlander.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the most degenerate stuff you do is going to be in Commander, which leads me to remembering that I wanted to ask you if you think this is going to make the cut in your mono blue
Oh yeah, absolutely.
deck.
This card is so good.
So, I mean,
All my social media are like, watch this funny interaction of Keebler and Josh Lee Kwai and Wheeler.
I mean, I was thinking back to this maybe should have been in like blue-black tempo or something like that, right? It's flexible. It gives you that ability, clear blockers or, protect your own threat or whatever.
yeah, I mean that's this like flexibility is so good when you know how to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And like this is a format where you're expected to know how to play Magic the Gathering, and the better you are at playing Magic the Gathering, the more you're going to be able to leverage these cards that have a variety of play patterns, right?
All right, next up.
Hydroman, Fluid Felon. Blue for a 2/2 legendary elemental villain with whenever you cast a blue spell, if Hydroman is a creature, he gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And at the beginning of your end step, untap Hydroman until your next turn. He becomes a land and gains tap at blue. He's not a creature during that time. So this is an interesting card that honestly, I am surprised they included in a set that like wants to kind of play a core set impersonation and like get people to come to the game. Cards that change on their own from one type to another are inherently like kind of tricky for the rules, period, for the engine of Magic to handle. But anyways, this is a cool card. Like 2 blue for a 2/2 that can get bigger during your turn. Like it's a grow creature, and there are some combo applications there if you set up some sort of loop or just like storm turns. Like maybe you're attacking with this thing for 5 in an average, like I'm popping off kind of young pyromancer deck. And then on your opponent's turn, it's a land and it untaps itself. So you get to like play it. They have to kill it with an instant because on sorcery it's a land. So if they don't deal with it immediately, now you're like, you've got this card that just plays double duty where like it can beat in and it just taps to counter your opponent's spells on their turn.
How bad does it feel to have your creature die to wasteland though on your turn, right?
Honestly,
you're like Hydro Man, pass. And
honestly,
they're like,
yeah.
wasteland.
You've seen me play Magic. I almost always rather a creature die than a land die. Like I mean,
this is kind of both, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the blue-red tempo deck doesn't usually get to play 2 lands in a turn.
Like this card is just so hard to block, right? Like much like other prowess cards.
Sure.
And then so the play pattern of I just turn this sideways every single turn because I have no expectation that this card's going to block. And then they're like, well, if I block and they have the spell, then I'm losing my creature, and also it doesn't matter because they're just going to untap it and then have counterspell.
They're always going to have counter magic up. It's
just
kind of
like,
cool.
Yeah, the play pattern of like, I'm going to attack, you made some blocks, I'm like, oh, I'll play an opt, kill off your creature, and you're like, okay, well now you're down a creature, end of turn, this untaps, go, and now I have an additional mana to mana leak your next threat, and then this is the song that never ends. Like you're just doing it over and over again.
Like, don't get me wrong, this card's never going to be worth 3 points, but like if you have it in the early turns, it feels like you got a mock start. Mm-hmm. Like keep in mind too, you play it has summoning sickness, but that doesn't affect non-creature permanents, so immediately you're up a mana.
Imagine
on their turn.
Imagine the play pattern, Serge, if you will.
Why me? But sure, go on.
Because
I'm sold on this card, man.
I know.
Go on. Yeah, tell me.
But
my eyes are closed. I'm in my mind.
I'm
palace.
saying this because I imagine Nelson has already thought about this.
Keep going.
You play this card on turn. You're on the play. You play this card on turn 2, and you pass. This becomes an island or whatever it is. Becomes a land. Your opponent untaps, casts a 2-drop. You tap your Hydro Man land and spell snare it.
Ooh.
See, I gotta, yeah, I'm selling the product to you. Yeah. I know you're on team this, but I'm saying like the aggressive play patterns with this card, like the tempo positive.
Sure.
You untap. It's turn 3. You can't cast one already. It's not on your turn.
All right, we don't. Yeah, mono blue, blue X. Like where do you like this most? Like, is this mono blue beatdown? Maybe like Flying Man's adjacent. I mean, you know what I mean.
Mono blue has shown up a little bit more. So I'd say mono blue, maybe blue X, RIP blue green Sorensen.
Yeah.
But like you could try this in a heavy blue red deck. You could try this in a blue black deck. Honestly, blue white might be okay too. But I have thoughts about that archetype.
Esper Flash, blue white Flash, like blue. I think Pyromancer.
I don't like it in a 3-color deck.
Well, so many of these decks are built to get blue on 2, right?
Yeah.
Because like you have counter.
You want to have counter up? Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
All right, next up, Lady Octopus, Inspired Inventor. This is a 1-mana 0/2 legendary human scientist villain. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an Ingenuity counter on Lady Octopus. Tap. You may cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the number of Ingenuity counters on Lady Octopus without paying its mana cost. I'm actually kind of mid on this card, but you seem excited. You like it?
I started out mid.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I had this on my first draft of this spreadsheet.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't when the first, because it's like it's bad Tameo mana, right?
What? Well, yes, but also Tameo is one of the best.
I know.
Okay, so breaking it down, this is a 1-mana blue card, so already that's just so easy to include or justify including. In order for this card to increment its counters, you just need to draw your first card or your second card each turn. That's pretty easy because you do that by playing Magic the Gathering.
Sure.
And in a blue deck, you can also do that on their turn through a Brainstorm and Off to Consider, cracking an egg or whatever. Or you can continue to do it on your turn by playing an egg, a ponder, a cantrip. Good with baubles, which also synergizes to the artifact theme. And then the casting ability here circumvents timing.
It gets around counter spells like this. So like obviously your thought for this is something that an artifact strategy plays.
I play this
to
with
fight. Well, hold on, to fight through counter matchups.
No.
Really?
I don't care about the not counter part.
You just think of this as like a tempo advantage? It just like accelerates you slightly?
It's a 1-mana card that synergizes with artifacts that you play in your Emery deck, your deck with Tameo, maybe your deck with Goblin Welder. Like it's a 1-mana blue card that synergizes with playing Magic the Gathering in a deck that's casting Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor and constantly refilling its hand. Not to mention, it adds to the Mox Amber count, which has been getting up and up and up. And any way that you can justify including an additional 0-mana artifact that provides like extra mana. Like we've seen Mox Amber pop off in this style of deck for Modern, and Canlanders are hungry for it.
I like this angle. I want to go back to the counter spells thing because I think I don't want to steer people into misunderstanding the card. So when you use its tap ability,
right? So it is a cast, right?
Yeah, you cast
right.
it.
Yeah, so you're not putting it into play. It's not an ether vial effect.
It does ignore timing restrictions, though, right? Because it says you may cast, and it doesn't tell you do this only as a sorcery, right? So like the way this normally reads, you would ignore timing restrictions.
That's so funny. That makes me like it less. Like I thought maybe this was an artifact aether vial.
If it was tapped,
like that,
put
right?
an artifact into play. Yeah, that would go to round counter magic.
Yeah.
This doesn't do that, but you might have. But the thing is, sure, counter spells work against this tap ability, but it also means that anything you play that cares about casting artifact spells, the phrase "whenever you cast an artifact spell," I think it's been on this show a couple times. Then it matters for that. Go ahead.
Serge just said something that kind of fried my brain.
Yeah.
What do you value highest on Aether Vial? Like which quality? Is it circumventing counter magic?
I mean, sorry. There's the two things that I think are equally important. There's being able to get a threat in on their turn.
Yeah.
Like the timing stuff, right? Surprise blocker, surprise interaction. It does do that.
Yeah.
But also I think that's its big strength in the counter or control matchup is the ability to get around. And that's another part of the timing restrictions for what it's worth, right? Because it's abusing those windows against a control deck.
So then why do you think that that's important? Like, what is the obviously the downside is they trade 1-1, but like...
What is the downside of this card?
No. The downside of like getting your spell countered is that you have input mana.
Sure.
And
now you can't follow it up with something else, right? You've traded a card for a card, but you've also lost your turn.
The real strength of Aether Vial is that it just adds a ludicrous amount of mana. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Like it's not about the uncounterable. It's about I get 3, 2, 4, whatever mana on your turn or on my turn. And this is also what this card does. Like I'm not saying this is a 1-to-1 for Aether.
Sure.
But it's the cost of inclusion of a 1-mana blue card that cares about artifacts, that cares about your draw step, that lets you cheat on mana, that synergizes with like other cards in the deck and Mox Amber and stuff. Yeah, dog.
It's just funny to me that I don't know. I just felt like of all the archetypes that don't need acceleration, it's artifact decks. But I'm totally willing to be wrong on this. It's just funny to find myself on the opposite side of this because we keep looking at synergy pieces for Academy decks and be like, look at this great new piece, and you're like, doesn't need it. Like it's a deck that already draws infinite cards and has infinite mana. So like, why does an artifact strategy in particular need this?
Because there's more than what just currently exists.
That's fair.
Or building upon subversions of that, like the Welder deck, right? Like that name might.
Because Welder's also already cheating on.
Well, it might, yes, but it also might be a misnomer. Is that what we're actually looking for? Are these artifact mid-range Emery Tameo decks that we've seen, like 8-cast is kind of what they would have originally been called in Legacy or even Modern. Like it's artifacts are just so broken. And like you just get to play cheap blue cards that break the rules of the game.
You know what this reminds me of, hilariously, is a couple sets ago we were talking about the birthing pod for artifacts.
Oh, the repurposing day.
And Nelly and I were both like, this card is sick. And Wheeler was like, it doesn't need it. Like, Artifacts is the deck that doesn't need that. And I feel like in that conversation, Nelly and I were looking at you like, what don't you get? You're crazy. And now you and Nelly are looking at me being like, look at this card. What don't you get? You're crazy.
I haven't weighed in.
Sure. That's fair. You've been like, Dad, stop fighting.
I can give you something. I wouldn't have put this card on the list initially. Like, I think it's interesting. I'm totally happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
But my initial impression is this isn't strong enough. And now I realize, like, okay, if we think of it as Artifact Ether Vial, like if we just give it the benefit of the doubt, you're like, you play this on turn 1. On turn 2, now it's already got 1 counter for free, and then by turn 3, there's a chance that we're actually just going to like tap it
like
to put Kappa Cannoneer in play or something, depending on the deck or whatever, right? So if we just consider that it's going to tick up by at least 1 every turn, always, and then some turns it's actually going to tick up faster, like, yeah, maybe Artifact Ether Vial is sick.
Also, 1 or less. We've skipped over this.
Yeah,
Aether Vial is very precise.
Yes, it is worth mentioning that whole conversation. I think the 3 of us understood what we meant for that example, but the viewer might be like, they're getting it wrong. Question.
Yeah.
Does Brainstorm draw 1 or 2, put 1 or 2 counters on this?
2 counters.
It is 2?
2 counters.
It's not 1 ability that sees you draw 2 at the same time. It doesn't give it to you?
This triggers when you have drawn your first or your second card.
Right, and each draw is counted separately.
Yes.
I forgot that. Right, right. Okay.
It'll trigger twice.
Yep, cool.
I want to say one more thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just to cap off the repurposing bay, where is that card?
You know what?
I have it in a deck.
No.
I mean, yeah.
It is starting to see more play now. It didn't for a very long time, and you were right. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if this card sees no play for what it's worth, too.
This card's 1 mana.
I'm so down to be wrong about Lady Octopus because the art's sweet and it's only 1 blue mana.
We should move on.
I have one more thing to say to actually bail you out because even if they can counter this spell, it is relevant that you can go pass, end of your turn, tap Lady Octopus, put important artifact on the stack, they counter it. Now you untap, spend your mana on second important artifact, tap Lady Octopus for third important artifact, and just having flash, even though you're putting cards in the stack that can be countered, is a good way to get through counter magic, right? They have to use their 1 turns of mana to deal with your 1 or 2 or 3 threats.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's the whole Aether Vial argument. Yeah.
Well, no, it's separate from the Aether Vial argument, but similar. The flash is the same. We got to move on.
No, I said we got to separate this from Aether Vial. You got to stop making comparisons of cards.
Sure.
It's just, that does not work.
Whose turn is it?
It's
mine.
Me.
Great.
What? No. Oh, I was Lady Octopus. You're right. Wheeler.
Next, we have Norman Osborn. This is the blue member of the Double Face Modal Mythic Cycle. 1 in a blue for a 1/1 legendary human scientist villain. Norman Osborn can't be blocked. Whenever Norman Osborn deals combat damage to a player, he connives. Reminder, conniving is drawing a card, then discarding a card. And if you discard a non-land card, you put a 1/1 counter on Norman. Then you can pay 1 blue, black, and a red to transform Norman only as a sorcery, or you could pay that cost and cast his backside, which is Green Goblin, a 3/3 legendary goblin human villain with flying, menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. Mayhem is a new keyword. It is, air quotes, fixed madness, in that you may cast a card from your graveyard for its Mayhem cost if you discarded it this term, but timing rules still apply. So, for instance, I discard a card to Faithless Looting with Mayhem. I can play a land. I could go about my day. But during that turn, because I have discarded it, I can cast it from my graveyard for its Mayhem cost, as long as I'm still following the rules of, Magic the Gathering. This card's really strong, I think. Going back to the Norman side, because that's the cheapest side, it's like the most juiced up Looteril core I've ever seen.
Yep.
So juiced for Looteril
and
core.
Looteril core is a great Magic card.
Yep.
Like just a 2-mana 1/1 that smacks you, that can grow larger.
Norman's unblockable. Like
he is
straight
just
up?
straight up blockable.
flat.
Sorry, James. Can you
unblockable.
flippity back?
He's legendary on both sides. That's the drawback. But just can't be blocked.
Yeah, he's just a 2-mana 1/1, can't be blocked, hits them, connives, gets bigger.
Can we talk something really quickly about the transformability here? Sure. This is not exile transform, so any +1/+1 counters you put on this side stay when it transforms as well.
Right, it just flips.
Yeah.
So you do have a regular play pattern here where if you want, you can hit them, discard something you want to cast, pay 4 to flip, and now whatever you cast costs 2 less, and you can cast it that turn.
And I think this card is most likely to play in the camp of the 2-mana play pattern or the 6-mana play pattern. Because just having an unblockable creature that just gets larger and larger, like this is a slam dunk in Flying Men. Not that that's the toppest of tier archetypes, but still, it's a legitimate competitor.
Yeah.
Do you like it in the Captain Howler sort of opened up an archetype of these like cycling discard cards? Yeah.
Yeah. Looterial Core and these type of like I hit you, I loot effects are so good. People don't play them for a couple of reasons. One, they are often mandatory, which is real awkward with like a Hull Breacher or Orcish Bowmasters eat cheese for dinner, whatever. Sure. There's a perception that they're slow, but that's just like Magic players being stupid because it's like, yeah, it's a creature, you dumbass. Like, of course it's slow. It's like, yeah, a Johnny is slow in that I play it and I can't attack with it.
I have to wait a whole turn to untap with this creature. Yeah.
But also because I think the Suspicious Stowaway, like there is a really good version of this effect that is unblockable, but it introduces day-night, and I think people just don't want to deal with it.
I went to put this card in a deck recently and was like, wait, should I just play this Suspicious Stowaway? I was like, nah, I'm cutting cards anyway. But like that card is also actually probably pretty underplayed.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Suspicious Stowaway is like a pretty good card.
I think this card is
so when we were on the podcast,
better
right?
than Stowaway. It's different.
A little bit.
It's different.
Yeah.
But like using the graveyard, discarding cards, it's just so good to do in our format. Barogoyfs, Pyrogoyfs, like Metamorphosis Fanatic, Psychic Frog, Reanimation, like playing this card in a Grixis deck, playing this card in a blue-black or like an Esper deck or even a Sultai deck. Like there's so many configurations where this card is so powerful. The backside is just gravy. Yeah. Like I'm with Nelson in that I'm like, I'm hitting you, I'm getting this to be like a 3/3. And then I'm like, actually now it's a 7/7 Flying Menace.
Yeah.
That also just lets me cast something from my graveyard for some reason.
It is funny to think of the play pattern of I will actively hit you for less damage just so I can get the cost reduction. Right? You're like, you hit them to connive and then flip, and you're like, you just chose to hit me for 2 less damage or whatever.
Right, but you might need the connive.
I know. Well, but you can't even threat with it because it's sorcery speed. You can't be like, you block?
Well,
right. I know, but worth mentioning.
It's got a bunch of interesting play patterns.
Yeah.
It's a cool card.
All right, let's
move on to
yeah.
Secret Identity. 1 blue mana for an instant with choose 1, conceal. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a citizen with base power and toughness 1/1 and gains hexproof. That's all until end of turn. Or reveal. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a hero with base power and toughness 3/4 and gains flying and vigilance. Okay, so pretty cool modal trick. 1 blue. We don't play combat tricks very much. You can also sorcery it to get in with flying. But this card has a lot of words on it, and kind of all the things that it does aren't things we do very regularly in Highlander, especially in blue. We play green hexproof tricks for the Berserk or RIP Infect decks, but we rarely play this kind of trick in blue, even though blue routinely offers something like this. So usually when you turn something into 1/1, it's to get your opponent's creature and limit it and like make it block bad. But this one also gives it hexproof and can't even target your opponent's creatures. You're only targeting your own creature with Secret Identity. So you can either use it to counterspell their removal, okay, and that shrinks your creature for the turn, or it becomes a 3/4. And you can do that inside of combat to just get the stats and eat their thing, or you can do it pre-combat so that you still have flying and vigilance when you go into attackers. And that's going to be great for things like initiative battles, like getting the initiative back with your flying vigilance creature and then still being able to block when your opponent wants to bring it back.
All right, so Holmes, where are you playing this?
I have no idea because as I mentioned before, we don't usually play this kind of card.
I think this card is good enough to try it out in Is It Prowess. Like, we have better targets to protect, like 1 mana protect your Vivi. It's pretty important.
I was going to say, like, now that everything's a Sprite Dragon, like there's a bunch of these creatures that just grow instead of getting prowess.
And flying on like a grow creature.
Sure,
like
flying Vivi, 2 extra power.
Yeah, the fact that this provides evasion is huge. right? Like dive down. We call these dive downs because
Sure, that was like one of the first ones.
Slip out the back occasionally sees play. That's a phase out card that has some.
Can that one target your opponent?
Yes,
Right.
so it has utility like the hide on the ceiling, but this is a card that has all the same protection capabilities, but also just like can push evasive damage, and if you're not killing them, well, then it's got vigilance.
Maybe
so it lets
Teamer
you win the
Prowess
race.
wants this. Like, has anyone like still been wanting Eshki Dragonclaw to be a real card?
Yes.
Oh
That-
man,
that-
that
if
card
you
was sweet.
If you have that card in your deck, maybe consider Secret Identity because it plays double duty in terms of punching in a little harder or it's saving your homie.
All right. Last blue card we're going to talk about. No, that's wrong. Next up is Spider Sense. 2 mana instant for 1 and a blue, or you can web sling it for a single blue. Counter target instant, sorcery, or triggered ability. This card is great. This is like a more. I mean, it's not necessarily a stifle because it's a trigger. It's not
Doesn't do
triggered
activated
or
ability.
activated ability,
Yeah.
which is a big one. But it plays in all the same play patterns that we're talking about with web slinging, in that not only is a counter spell, but can also proactively untap your stuff. If you're in blue, you can also potentially like spell slinging a flash threat to get like a blocker back in. So it does give you some pretty cool lines.
He means web slinging. It's all
Okay.
good. He
I'm
means web
so
slinging.
sorry. I kept saying spell slinging.
Yeah,
Y'all-
this is the spell with web slinging,
Right?
right?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
they
I'm-
only put it on one. Did they give another instant sorcery web sling? I don't
Yeah.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they
So,
it's got the cool name.
So, right. In conclusion, this is a very cool, very flexible counterspell that also has a little bit of stifle double duty, and it has web slinging, which is really cool and good.
Card really good against everything Thassa's Oracle decks are trying to do.
Yes.
All right. And the last blue card, Wheeler.
Unstable Experiment.
Oh, yeah.
1 and a blue for an instant. Target player draws a card, then up to 1 target creature you control connives. This is kind of funny in that it is just like a common
Yeah.
pseudo combat trick in the set, but I'm going to describe a pretty standard play pattern that is also just like the best play pattern of this is 2 mana. You draw 2 cards, discard a card, put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control at instant speed.
Yep.
That's not nothing. Like, that is,
yeah, it's kind of pushed.
it's like with Chart a Course and these 2 mana draw spells still occasionally see play in Izzet decks or in like multicolored blue X kind of creature decks, where you're looking to increment creatures, and this does that. This increments your creature, does it at instant speed. You do need to obviously have the creature in order to get the double draw.
Sure.
Which is important because if you don't have a creature to connive, then well, you can't connive. For some reason, this says target player draws a card. So this has some splash utility against Thoracle decks, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was just going to say it prevents the card from being countered if they kill your creature in response, right?
Yes.
You still, because they can kill your creature in response and you still connive. You still get to draw the
two
card.
legal targets.
Yes.
It just doesn't get a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they kill you, your creature still connives.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Moral spasm may destroy an artifact. Yeah.
Very rarely do we get commons. It's depressing to say, but very rarely do we get commons that you're like, yeah, I'd play this.
Right.
We talk about like 1 common per set review, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this time it's
And-
unstable
and
experiment.
especially a blue common
Yeah.
that isn't like, what if Mana Leak were 2.5 mana?
All right, time to move on to black. And Nelly.
Let's talk about Agent Venom, 2 and a black for a legendary 2/3 symbiote soldier hero with flash and menace. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life. Hooray! Drawing cards. Doing aristocrat stuff. Being a flash menace 2/3 for 3. This card has a lot of good things going for it. We have seen like black-green decks playing I forget what it's called, but like
Sephiroth?
Guilds of Ravnica. Yeah, Sephiroth for sure.
Midnight Reaper.
Thank you.
The
Midnight
zombie
Reaper.
one, yeah. This
Thank you.
is a like a more pushed version of Midnight Reaper with the downside of being legendary. Oh, you're making a face.
It also
you're making
says
a face.
it also says another non-token creature. Like I think Midnight
Sure.
Reaper was just creature
Midnight Reaper draws off itself.
and off itself.
Oh, right.
That's
Does
right,
it say
right.
non-token though? Midnight Reaper says
I
non-token.
believe it says non-token.
And it has 3 power, but this has menace, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, and flash.
Yeah, and flash. Like this can come in and block their cloud or whatever.
Different, not better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
sure.
I think that's totally fair.
very valid.
I want everyone to know that like lately, and it's going to keep happening this year, and it's probably going to keep happening for a while. I don't know how long it's going to take before we stop talking about more legendary creatures than non-legendary creatures. That's just the way sets are going. But we're not planning. I mean, I don't think that we're not in charge, but I don't think the council is planning on pointing Caracas ever.
Well, I'm in charge.
You're in charge, exactly. Yeah,
You pointing Krakus ever?
I mean, not now.
yeah. So like that's not happening. So we just, it's like, so when there's a non-legendary way to do thing that legendary creature do, often pick non-legendary thing just so you don't have to deal with Caracas. But that said, yeah, this card's great. You draw cards, you attack them with menace. You flash in and block their creature.
Do you like this in Aristocrats more so, or as a mid-range card?
I like it in Aristocrats, and I like it in Black X Grind. Like, I could maybe see you including it in Rakdos Sacrifice, and I could see you including it in, like, Black-Green Fast but Graveyard.
Cool.
It's very easy to cast.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Ancient Tomb mana?
Exactly. Yeah, 3
Double mock straw mana.
double rock straw. Just well, however you got to 3 mana, the stats are okay, right?
Yeah.
Flash menace 2/3, even if nothing else happens, like it's not that bad.
All right, next up, we have Eddie Brock. So we have a 3-mana 3/3 for 2 and a black, legendary human hero villain. When Eddie Brock enters, return target creature card with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. But wait, this is also another one of the double face transforming modal cards. And on the back, you have Venom, lethal protector for 3, a black, a red, and a green. You have a legendary symbiote hero villain 5/5 with menace, trample, and haste. Whenever Venom attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, draw X cards. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the sacrifice creature's mana value. So there's a lot going on with this card, kind of with this whole cycle of cards, right?
Yeah, all these transform mythic rares.
The front face, you have a 3-mana 3/3 that also gets to bring back. Is it just a creature? I just wanted to see if it wasn't a permanent. So strong, pretty valuable. Maybe the less exciting one so far that we've seen compared to the other two. I'm just thinking of like impact. I mean, it's good.
Did you mean say most?
I
I think Norman's the best one of the 3 we looked at, but this one's the most fun.
I get where you're coming from, but I look at this and I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to return the Carrion Feeder or the Visceraseer they kill. Like it returns the most valuable piece of your deck to play. And if it doesn't, then it just returns Infestation Sage.
You're thinking like, you're thinking either you named Sandra Bullock or like a Pattern Rector style combo deck because you're thinking of a sack outlet, or Aristocrats, or you're just thinking Aristocrats straight up with a sack outlet.
There are 2 decks that I'm thinking about this card. Aristocrats and I guess Project X.
I don't know that one. What's that?
It's creature combo.
It's a creature combo deck that involves sacrificing.
Also what they called Valorant before it was Valorant.
think like Safi Eriksdotter combos, or the Pattern Rector combo, but you don't play the Hulk part or the Academy Rector part. You just the density of interlocking.
Right. You're just looping creatures over and over and over.
Yeah, basically.
That's very cool.
Yeah, which
so
does.
you don't even care too much about the backside on this. That's just kind of gravy. Well, I mean, the fact that it has that flexibility makes it even better. Makes it more push, right?
In Aristocrats, I do because like how many times do you just play that deck and you're like, I have 6 mana. Please let me not draw my Hunted Witness.
Right, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, hold on.
Oh, it's a Garrison Cat.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like that's a Gaia's Cradle deck. That's a deck that makes treasures.
I'm going to be honest. The weak part, and maybe I just need to sleeve up and get some reps in with Aristocrats.
Yes,
because I'm looking at this card and I'm evaluating it from like a mid range point of view and being like, it's fine. It's a little bit expensive for what it does, but missing that key interaction of like what a great impact it is for that archetype is kind of cool.
Well, it also just brings back Gydasol's Ocelot Pride.
Yeah.
Like 1-drop creatures are pretty good right now.
But if you're not pushing towards some critical mass plan, Aristocrats, or combo plan, Project X, whatever, then this card looks like bad Lurrus
Yeah,
or whatever.
well,
Like, and
that's
you're
what I
already
was thinking,
you're already
right?
probably
And
having a tough time including Lurrus every time in the grindy decks anyway.
I'm aware of those 1-drops, but they're in white, and I can't imagine a 4-color deck where you're playing this and Ocelot Pride or something, right?
This is secretly just a 3-color card because if you're playing black, you're playing Deathrite, which means
Yep.
that you'll have the additional color.
Sure, you have you do often have access to those
Yeah.
splash colors, even if you're only like a 2-color deck. That's so valid. All right,
Do I get to talk about who's next? Sorry.
Me.
Oh, it's you.
thrown
Oh,
to
that's
Wheeler,
fine.
yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
I keep getting lost.
I got it.
you.
I'll throw Wheeler.
Gwenom Remorseless. 3 black for a 4/4 legendary symbiote spider hero with Death Touch and Lifelink. And whenever Gwenom attacks, until end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library anytime and may play cards from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. This ability is Bolas's Citadel.
Which is a fair and balanced card, right?
If you've been paying attention to Canadian Highlander, you have probably ran into or heard of Citadel Storm, which I believe might be one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the format. A deck so powerful, I don't want to play it because I think it's so broken that it might need additional points.
Oh, wow.
But if I don't play it, I don't find out. This is a Bolas's Citadel ability on attacks, which, you have to get this into play and you have to attack with it, which can be a bit tough for a 5-mana creature until you realize, hey, this is a legendary black creature. And so getting this into play off of Shallow Grave or Goryo's Vengeance or Corpse Dance is a lot easier than it looks. And when you do that, you win the game. You storm off. Now, you need to build your deck in a way to take advantage of this. If that's the game plan you're looking to, capture with this card. But I'd recommend doing that because it kills people. Like, I just want to Goryo's this into play, storm off, and kill them. It's kind of a... how do I want to word this? It's a different Gristlebrand.
Sure.
In that, like, you get into play, you gain some amount of life when it hits, because it's only on attack. This card can leave the battlefield, and this ability is still present.
Active, yeah. It's the last until the end of the turn.
Yep. And so, cool. I hit you, I gain 4, ideally, and that gives me more life to play around with and do things. And this card is likely to change zones in a deck like that because those decks are typically playing stuff like Sacrifice or Burnt Offering, giant dark rituals that require you to sack creatures, or Culling the Weak.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is this a brand new archetype, or are you playing this in like a Citadel Storm list already for a redundant copy of Citadel?
This is a pre-existing archetype, the Tin Fins
Sure.
or the Yawgmoth's Jacuzzi/Jacuzzi on Commission style decks, in that they're like a Storm Goryo's Vengeance
Like Storm Reanimator deck is such a funny line, right?
Yeah.
So you probably are also playing Grizzlebrand in something like that, right?
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
okay.
Yeah. But I could also see this just being played in a Nelson deck. Is I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's so real. Nelly's like, yeah, you got me.
So hilariously, I had this card in the
Spider-Man event.
the released limited event, and it ran the show.
Yep.
But then I was like, well, yeah, it's a 5-mana 4/4 there that you have to attack with, but I didn't think about like combo piece, like Entomb plus Goryo's to turn into Bolas's Citadel line.
Brother, that's all I think.
Sure, no, that's chill. I guess now I should probably try that. Did anyone else steal my Gwenom from the table?
You put it, yeah.
Okay, it's time to talk about Morlun, Devourer of Spiders, X black for a 2/1 legendary vampire villain with lifelink, and Morlun enters with X +1/+1 counters on him, and when Morlun enters, he deals X damage to target opponent. Kids, you're not going to remember the set Champions of Kamigawa.
Saviors of Kamigawa.
Okay.
Even
well,
worse.
Well, in the set Champions of Kamigawa, there was a card called Heartbeat of Spring that set all of your lands.
Oh, sure.
Add more
That's where
mana.
you're going.
And then in another set called Ravnica City of Guilds, there was the transmute mechanic, and I can't remember the name of the 05 defender with flying.
Oh, Drift of Phantasm.
There's a card called Drift of Phantasms that would let you search up any 3-mana card like a Heartbeat of Spring, or this other creature whose name is actually Maga, Traitor to Mortals, which is kind of funny because that's how that turned out in real life too. But then Maga was essentially the same creature as Moreland, where it was 3 black pips and X to fireball your opponent. I don't know if it gained you life. Did it also gain? Did Maga
I don't
gain you
remember
life?
it
It doesn't
gaining
matter.
life.
The fact that the ability has lifelink on this
Thank
is
you.
very funny.
Yeah, it's just lose life, and it was 1 more mana, and you got your creature was 2/1 smaller because that was
but this
the style of the time.
Yeah, this one you don't have to pay X. You still get a creature. Maga just dies if you
Exactly.
don't. Right?
Yeah,
Well, this one, what it had going for us that it cost 3 mana, so you could tutor it with the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
transmute
yeah,
cards.
that didn't matter. This killed people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully, if you're playing Moreland, I mean, honestly, 2 mana, 2/1 lifelink.
I'll play
yeah.
Child of Night.
God,
Yeah,
so
right.
messed up.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, like, you're putting this in decks where you want to also Heartbeat of Spring, Fireball them, or whatever. You have some pile of
so
mana,
funny.
and then I just read it again, and I had to be
Yeah.
like, nope, that's not the case. Actually, just
So-
put stupid new Mega in any deck you want.
But also, like, Wheeler killed me with black-white vampires.
Sure.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
vampires is just a thing, and this is what a lot of these emerging Kindred these
decks?
Kindred archetypes, the ones that aren't zombies or goblins yet, are looking for like good threats at 2 and 3 and cheap lords.
Right.
And like this is so pushed. Right? And the way it's worded, also the fireball gains you life, right? Which, like, what a huge life swing. What a huge body. And you're like, yeah, go ahead and Caracas it, idiot. Like,
Sure. Yeah, you might want to practice it yourself.
It's just good at any point. Child of Night, much like Sleep, is just a card where you're like, God, I wish I could play just a Child of Night. Like,
Yeah.
I want to play this and like trade with something and be like, nice, I gained 2 life. And you get that, but then also like you're playing a really long game and you're like, okay, draw. Oh, you're at what?
yeah.
Like, It's just does something at any point of the game,
Yep.
and people are going to hear like, am I really playing 4 mana for a 4/3 that domes you for 2 and gains you 2? Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
yeah,
so- it's just that's a thing that is annoying as hell.
Wait, hold on. Your flame tongue Kavu, it gains you the life that it deals. What? Hold on. Right? Yeah.
It's you're just doming them out.
Incredible.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
card's cool. I like this card.
It's just good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the flexibility. We talked before about 2 mana or 6 mana cards, and this card's just like pretty comfortable. to play
Also,
anywhere.
nice Caracas.
Yeah.
What if I just dome you out every turn?
Yeah.
Or what if I play Caracas and
Yep.
do this?
All right.
Next up, we have the Soul Stone, which is the chase card of the set, apparently.
They made an alternate version that there's not very
okay.
many of, I think.
Okay.
The Thanos gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Soul Stone is a 2 mana indestructible mana rock for 1 and a black. It's a legendary infinity stone. It taps to add a black, but then it has 2 more abilities. For 6 and a black and exile a creature you control, you can harness the stone. So you just put a counter on it. And then once it has been harnessed, going forward, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
You missed a line.
Did I?
It's got an ability before tap for black.
I said it's an indestructible.
Did you?
mana rock.
I didn't hear you.
That
That's
was
fine.
part of the introduction.
Nelson and I were too big. I was trying to force him to make goo eyes about a debtor's knell that also ramps you.
I only just recently bought a Virtue of Persistence. I'm so glad that there's somebody at Wizards that's just like, we gotta keep forcing Debtor's
Yeah, we
Knell.
gotta try to make this work. Now, Debtor's Knell and Virtue Persistence can target either graveyard. This is just your own.
Yeah.
and I actually don't love the way that like harness the stone and the infinity symbol are templated. It makes it seem a lot more complicated than it is. It's just like you pay the cost of the mana and exile a creature, and then it's online, and it's just online forever. And maybe you want a flavorful way to do that. I don't know if there's a clearer way to communicate that to the player.
There must have been. This came out so clunky. Go ahead.
They did this because it will make them infinite money.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Like, because it has the word that people know.
They're going to bring this back on the other ones as they leak them out.
Sure,
as they print them out
that's
eventually.
valid, yeah,
So
we'll see how that
they
goes.
needed to decide it on a templating for all of them. But I agree, and I think the whole Magic community probably agrees. Like, it came out kind of clunky.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
This is very cool. It's very flavorful. It is a mana rock that you cannot destroy. It has no downside for inclusion if you are a deck that wants to play 2 mana rock, which, mind you, there aren't a lot in our format. And the second ability is unbelievably slow. You have to exile a creature that is currently in play, which is a pretty high cost. And as somebody, the same Magic event that Nelly won, I paid 7 mana, exiled my own creature, and passed and just died. So, like, the windows of opportunity in our format, in Canadian Highlander specifically, and this is where I think we need to get ahead of our comment sections of, like, sure, if you're a Commander player, this is going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened. Your windows of opportunity for this to be relevant in our format are significantly lower. Most of the decks that are playing Mana Rocks, like looking at Academy decks, don't really want the ability to bring back creatures. It's not as relevant. And there are better ways to do it, looking at like Goblin Tinker than something like the Soulstone. That said, the card is cool. I don't know how much play it's going to see in our format, unless you really want a Mana Rock onto in black that has some hilarious late game application.
There is merit that you can play this as your Mana Rock, and you're like, I will not get this blown up.
Yeah?
That's not nothing.
That's the thing, yeah. If you just want an indestructible Mana Rock at 2, great.
I was just going to say, if you're already jamming Tezzerets, like if you have more than one card called Tezzeret in your deck, like, ooh, indestructible Mana Rock,
There is some cool applications with this if you are doing like in-soul artifact things, or like if you're playing anything that makes a rock a creature. Like in
the soul scissors.
In Soul, yeah, the scissors on a Ornithopter was a classic example, right?
Hey,
of like
soul scissors.
Yeah. But it's niche. And let's throw to Wheeler.
Swarm, being of bees. 2 and a black for a 2/2 legendary insect villain with flash, flying, and mayhem for a single black. We have seen in the past year or so 2 archetypes really pop up. This Grixis discard, people call it Madness because that's just the name that's hung around for so long. And Jund Delirium, which has a lot of the same DNA. There's a lot of discarding cards. There's a lot of churning through your deck. There's a lot of putting cards into a zone to buff Goyfs and whatnot. And one thing that those archetypes really want is redundancy. And it's funny to say where you might not play Swarm if there's only 1 copy of him, but what if there were 2 copies of him? There's a card from Modern Horizons 2 called Kitchen Imp or something. It's like a 4-mana 2/2 flying haste that has madness for a single black. Pauper players are like screaming at this card. And it plays very similarly to Swarm, right? This has, it's just you discard it, you pay a mana, you end up getting 2 power on the board that's evasive. And having more of those cards so that you can constantly be doing the thing that the deck wants to do is nice. This isn't going to win any awards or anything, but it's just one other card that doesn't play into your synergy that you can take out to empower the synergy part of your synergy deck, right? I also think that we now have enough redundancy that if you want to ignore the blue and just go straight black, red, or ignore the green, you could just do that. Yeah. Like the black, there's enough black-red cards that reinforce this theme in this set that I think you can just be like, oh, now I have the redundancy to trim my mana, maybe play some Blood Moons. Or
well, the red-black deck was already playing a lot of discard cards with your Intis and your Evoras, right? Yeah. And then being able to get additional value out of that strategy, I think it slides into that already very dominant archetype very cleanly.
Yes, yeah. It's just you're going to be seeing so many cards, you're going to be casting so many spells. Some of them are going to be like Swarm, where you're like, okay. But you need that.
Yeah, right? Better than you discard anything. You're like, well, now I just get additional value, which is wild.
Yeah, I'm excited for this archetype.
Also, shout out to the flavor text. Evil never dies; it just becomes bees. That's important.
Don't Google Fritz von Meyer controversy.
Don't.
This guy's a real bad guy.
Yeah.
All right, Nelly, start us off with red.
It's Electro Assaulting Battery. One red, generic red, 3 mana for a 2/3 legendary human villain with flying, and you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, add red. And whenever Electro leaves the battlefield, you may pay X. When you do, he deals X damage to target player. So, like, kind of the other side of the Moreland, cookie or whatever here, or coin. This is a 2/3 flyer for 3 that wants to crack in at your opponent, and then whenever it is that they kill him or block him or whatever, you then get to spend all the mana that you've been leaving lying around as you've been just playing Magic the Gathering and kill someone.
So I know in Commander, there's like this weird like Briggy style deck.
Briggy,
that just like stacks all this red mana. Is that not the same version as Electro? Like, is this a shell? Is there a weird combo application?
Oh,
of
sure.
Like,
I'm sorry. You could play it in Storm. Yeah. You can do more stuff with this guy. I just think, watch
Wheeler's
out.
making a face right now. All right. I mean,
Do you think this card's garbage or what?
I like this card only in a deck that is looking to Caracas it and then every turn just pay X and dome something.
Sure.
As like an engine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna be fine with playing it in like a prowess attacking deck, like just a regular kind of low curve deck that's like, yeah, I'm making my land drops, but I'm not necessarily ramping. I'm just gonna play this thing. The stats aren't incredible, but they're not embarrassing either.
There's something kind of funny you can do with this and like VV though, was just mana generation, like ridiculous amounts of mana generation off of casting spells if you have them both out at the same time.
And then Caracas it. Yes. Please put Caracas in your deck. Like put it in the
I
deck.
rolled my eyes when I saw this. I'm like, yeah, but people are just going to die to this card. Like this is the kind of card that isn't going to show up until somebody's going to like come third in like a 40-person event. You're
gonna get a weird like VV Soul Cauldron Electro deck that's just gonna generate a bajillion mana and nuke you, right? Like
hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Gwen Stacy. This is a 2-mana 2/1 legendary human performer hero for 1 and a red. When Gwen enters, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control this creature. And then transform ability for 2, a blue, a red, and a white. You get Ghost Spider. Flying Vigilance Haste 4/4. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on Ghost Spider. Remove 2 counters from Ghost Spider. Exile the top card of your library. You may play it any time, so that synergizes very well with the first ability. Are they all 2-drops except for Eddie Brock on the front face? 2 and then 5, and then Eddie is just randomly 3 and 6?
Yeah, they're all teenagers. Well, except for Norman Osborn, but he's
I think so.
a teenager at heart.
I think they might all be 2-drops,
Yeah. This is great. I mean, it fits in the curve at really good places in archetypes, and I think it's doing what sort of the Jeskai or red decks wanted you to be doing anyways, which is playing aggressive creatures and also getting card advantage.
I just double-checked because I like the front side of this card.
Yep.
The back side, I'm like, how am I going to take advantage of the lands, X from exile? And I was double checking some cards that like Jeskai tempo.
Well, like Lelia and
Expressive Iteration, Inti.
Yeah, those. Sorry, yes, they all.
Dread Horde Arcanist was one I was trying to check, but it's cast it from the graveyard, doesn't exile it and then cast it. But also, I don't know how much of that matters. Like, if you're just like a triple Mox aggressive Jeskai deck, like. Yeah, your 2-mana creature is likely going to draw you a card, and then you have a mana sink, or
Are
you
these
just
the same static abilities as Lightning Mantis Rider. Sorry, I was trying to figure.
Lightning Angel?
I was trying to say Lightning Angel and Mantis Rider.
No, the answer is no.
Flying Haste Vigilance, no.
Well, sorry, yes, it is Flying Haste Vigilance. Angel is a 3/4, Rider's a 3/3.
I meant just the static abilities.
Yes.
Yeah, so it kind of fits in that Jeskai theme. Of those 3 keywords?
Of
Hello?
2018.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not wrong.
R.I.P. I don't know. Yeah, maybe this is the only Lightning Angel that's playable today.
Don't shut up.
I was trying to. That's what I'm saying. Those are Wheeler's hard cards. I'm trying to relate with you.
I accidentally stabbed him in the heart, team.
You'll never relate to me, Mom.
What? Look, I'm getting into the things that you like. Flying Vigilance Haste.
Well, now I don't like them because you got into them. I'm going to talk about the next card. I like this card. I think we all
agree. We all agree that Gwen Stacy is good.
Very straightforwardly solid card here.
Yep.
Wheeler.
Heroes Hangout. Speaking of Gwen Stacy.
Also synergizes.
A single red for a sorcery that says choose one. Date night. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And patrol night. 1 or 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain first strike until end of turn. This is a 1-mana card that has multiple modes. One of those modes allows you to cash in for an additional card. The other one is you can't block 2 creatures, also they're bigger. This card's very good. I think I've been growing fonder of this card the more I've been thinking about it, because it's 1 mana.
Yeah.
1 mana is so easy to justify. Play this in your red decks. It's gonna it won't fill the same role that like a Ren's Resolve or a Reckless Impulse is going to fill, but it will let you trigger prowess, increment your creatures, cash in for a different card, or just go, well, your blocks are terrible. If this and this have first strike, I'm going to slam, and then you do block. I'm like, okay, well, bolt that.
The sorcery speed combat trick's a little bit awkward, right? You kind of wish this was an instant, but I suppose the exile
It's like an
abilities-
overrun. It
But
hits 2 creatures and gives them first strike. Which
But
is
I
terrifying,
think that because it's first strike, it doesn't matter.
Sure,
Right? Like
that's
if you
valid.
make an attack and your combat trick is first strike, like it will. If they don't block, then they're still not blocking. If they do block and then you combat trick, then like it's just your expected outcomes the
That's
same.
valid. That's
if that
valid.
makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, but you can't ever use it defensively. Yeah.
Yeah. This so it's 1 mana.
is.
It's
Yeah.
1 mana. It's 1 mana.
It's a sorcery.
Yeah. But it's 1 mana.
All right, Nelly.
Hobgoblin, Mantled Marauder. 1 and a red for a 1/2 legendary goblin human villain with flying and haste. And whenever you discard a card, Hobgoblin gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Okay, so this is another one of the role players. Admittedly, kind of an impressive, maybe marquee one from the archetypes we've already talked about earlier, Grixis or Rakdos or maybe Jund, whether you're aiming for
blue-red.
Delirium or just blue-red. Sure, there's a bunch of different ways that you can play, Marauding Mako from Aether Drift and Friends. All these cards that just want you to fill your yard or discard cards or both. This one's pretty solid. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it. It's just this is a 2-drop
good.
with flying and haste.
Yeah.
Like anytime the legendary creature has haste, it automatically gets a bit of a pass from Caracas. And then this one just does what that deck wants to do really well.
+2 on a flyer and just
Yeah.
whenever you discard a card. So like
It counts every card you discard.
Faithless Looting is +4.
Yep.
basically. That's a lot.
Yeah,
like
that
number
and,
goes up.
Captain Prowler is just absolutely cracked, right? Like, hello.
Sure. Yeah.
What is the name of the cowboy set card? The spell Skyslinger. It's also +2/+0 on the flying haste one.
Slick Shot Show Off.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
same kind of coding as that one.
exactly. And that card is also very good.
That card kills people.
All right, next up we have the Masked Meower. This is a 1 mana 1/1 haste spider cat hero for a single red pep. Discard a card, sack this creature, draw a card.
We have Insolent Neonate in the format. Not to steal this card, but this is Wheeler's territory.
I'll take the
It's-
next one.
New dredge creature just dropped.
Well, it's just the Insolent Neonate's a kind of an interesting card where you like want to play it in Dredge, but also you just don't play it in Dredge because it doesn't cast your Hogak and all that. But maybe because there's added redundancy, you can tailor your deck in a way where you want this effect. That's all I'm saying. Is like having one, you're like, I don't know if I can reliably use this kind of card, or like if I want to reinforce this play pattern. Having 2, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see myself doing this. This has haste where the Neonate has menace, but both do kind of allow for chip damage until they start like a Golgari Grave Troll train is the thing.
Do you like this in like red blue discard?
Nope.
Howler? Nope. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if we've been playing Neonate in the other decks we were mentioning that kind of revolve around Marauding Mako.
Not really.
But Dredge has seen some Neonate play in,
Yes.
in
All right.
Highlander before.
Wheeler, go ahead with the next card.
Romantic Rendezvous. That's not how you say that word, but that's okay. 1 in a red for a sorcery. Discard a card, then draw 2 cards. Notably, this is all one line of text. This is not an additional cost. This is also not do this if you do draw 2 cards. If you cast this card while you have no cards in hand, you just draw 2 cards. We typically shy away from Thrill Possibilities and whatnot because of those barriers that have been on previous printings of similar
I
cards.
mean, I can force of will you, and we're both losing 2 cards.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and that has caused these cards to kind of fall out of favor. And red decks especially tend to push towards the Reckless Impulse, the Ren's Resolve, that kind of card. But this is like the best that we've received. It's a sorcery, but that's okay. I like drawing cards. I like playing out all my cheap spells, going to 0 cards or low cards, and then casting this and drawing 2 cards. Like Thrill of Possibility and Tormenting Voice are not bad cards. It's just the awkwardness of when it goes wrong. It can really go wrong, and this kind of removes that from the equation.
I suppose a good parallel to that would be the bounce lands are like unplayable in Canadian Highlander for the reason of, well, if you get wastelanded, you're back so much more than just playing something normal.
But could you imagine if we could play bounce lands in our format and not have to worry about getting wastelanded? Like that would feel great. And like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, what if you got to play those cards but not have to worry about all the downsides associated with those cards?
Yeah,
all right.
I like it in red deck wins a lot, which I think we're going to start calling red deck rendezvous.
The rendezvous. And then take us home. Last card of the night, Nelly.
It's Spider Punk. 1 in a red for a legendary 2/1 Spider Human Hero with Riot, which is an ability from, I want to say...
one of the Ravnicas.
Yeah, one of the Ravnicas. Anyways,
yeah.
Not Gate Crash, the next one or something. This creature enters with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste, if you didn't remember. Also, other spiders you control have Riot, so that means other spider creatures you play after this one will enter with either a counter or haste. And spells and abilities can't be countered, and damage can't be prevented. So just like bunch of beefy, powerful lines of text on a 2/1 for 2 that can get haste. So it's got enough going for it, again, with haste and a cheap mana cost that I don't feel too bad about getting Caracas bolted, and you're probably not going to care that much that your other spiders have Riot, but the other two abilities are exactly what like a beefy green-red creature deck is looking for. This is like a 2 mana. I mean, I know it doesn't hit as hard as Questing Beast, but I think it's got as many total abilities as Questing Beast.
I like this in like Punishing Red.
Sure,
right?
Yeah,
like one of those all in decks that also, while it's dealing damage, it also wants to restrict your outs.
Right,
so that you can apply that clock and then just make it harder for them to answer.
I like damage can't be prevented in mono red as well, where you're trying to just get through bolts.
It's nice one ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Turns off that one ring ability that prevents them from taking damage for a turn, as well as protection. This card's again sort of like the last card I got, the Hobgoblin card. Is like, this is really solid 2-drop.
Yep.
Watch out, it's going to kill you.
Any closing thoughts for today?
The set's good.
Yeah,
Bunch of good cards in this set. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for part 1 of our Spider-Man set review. A reminder that everything we do is brought to you by you through support of the Patreon over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Also, apparently, North 100 is sponsored by Card Kingdom.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Now, we know them. We love them. Any singles that you enjoy, cardkingdom.com/LRR. Use that affiliate code when you buy them. Let them know that we sent you. Ask for a button. It will be funny or sad, maybe very dramatic. I've been Serge. I've been joined by Nelly.
I was here.
We had a Wheeler.
Throwdown.
Thank you to James on Tech.
You're welcome.
If there's anything you saw that you want to talk about, hit us up in the comments down below, and we will see you in part 2 coming out later on. Bye-bye.